if you play Dead by Daylight and you have an issue with this or this, you're part of the problem. Yeah, I said it. I get it. The Dead by Daylight true hards who have an issue with this Fortnitification of games. Well, last time I checked, Fortnite is worth billions with a B. Dead by Daylight is worth millions with an M. I think they're at like 220 million in sales since the game release, which is great. But Fortnite is what you should be striving for. You should be striving to make the most money you possibly can at all times. I'm not saying put anything and everything you can into Dead by Daylight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm still saying keep to the strategy of letting it make sense. That is what you need to do. But that doesn't mean you turn things away. And I think Dead by Daylight could actually even evolve their licensing to a point that most gamers haven't thought of. Like what started with is licensed killers and survivors with a couple licensed maps has turned into legendary skins where you have like Naughty Bear who has a complete different sound effects and different Mori for that killer, which changes a little bit of the game. I mean, heck, Matthew Lillard's The Yellow Rabbit for Springtrap that just came out. That one is different sound. He came in and did the voices, and then you have the OG Springtrap doing the other voices. It is worth noting, to make money, you got to bring in more licensing. I mean, what are the 3 most congruent player times Dead by Daylight has had? FNAF just broke it, obviously. But the other 2, if I'm not mistaken, are both Resident Evil drops. And I don't know if you know this, but as much as Resident Evil is known for being kind of a horror game, once we reached halfway through Resident Evil 3 and all of Resident Evil 4 and beyond, the horror is not really there anymore. There's no like jump scares or make you afraid to do things. It's a little bit more action horror to it, kind of like Doom, which you wouldn't necessarily consider horror, but it is of a horror element. Gears of War has horror elements, but no one's afraid of Wesker. Like, so this whole let's keep it to only horror, and that's why we're going to poo-poo on Darth Vader, doesn't make any sense to me. You should be wanting to bring in more. Now, I'm not saying make the game more colorful. Maybe there's a couple skins you could do that with. I mean, I'd be a fan of bringing Amanda the Adventurer in somehow, or Scooby-Doo skins, but that'd be about as most as the color. I mean, even though we do have some pretty colorful skins already in Dead by Daylight, but let's not turn it into cartoon kiddish like Fortnite. I do agree with that. And I'm not saying having revolving skins or having so many skins people can't keep up. Not saying any of that. I'm saying don't gatekeep other franchises to keep Dead by Daylight pure. It doesn't make any sense. You should bring in what people want. You may not want this, I may not want that, but this person could, or this person could. You could bring in new fan bases. You could bring in new people to play. And also, as we've seen Behavior really hone in on making legendary skins a thing, I think they should be doing legendary map variants. They should bring in a franchise just for the map. Jurassic Park, for instance. Why wouldn't you have a Jurassic Park map where it's just the map? There's no licensed killer, there's no licensed survivor, even though you could bring in a licensed survivor for Jurassic Park. But just playing on at the park would be really fun. Having raptors like in a cage or a T-Rex, have the little goat scene for the T-Rex from the movie with the cliffs. Like, there's some really good maps you can make out of a lot of these franchises. And I know Dead by Daylight and Behavior makes less money bringing in licenses. That is obvious. But that they've proven they can utilize licenses to do legendary outfits and skins to get that done. And you know what? Use these licensed skins to come up with your own regular characters. I mean, we've brought in some pretty different legendary skins. I mean, we brought in Attack on Titan. We're bringing in music artists, for crying out loud. I did a full video on what ridiculous celebrities like Nick Cage, who I'm a Nick Cage man. I love they brought in Nick Cage. Side note, Behavior, I'm still waiting for my Con Air skin, just so you know. bring in more characters like that. Make it fun. Not everybody wants to be scared. Not everyone wants this purity in this game that you think exists, because it doesn't. Fortnite started out as a zombie defense game, turned into a battle royale where you can have Master Chief, fighting Michael Myers, for crying out loud. That's not a bad thing either. You can keep its purity while still appeasing to new fan bases, bringing in new players, doing new things. And ultimately, there's so many things they could bring in, whether it be a legendary skin, whether it be a legendary map. And you can make, original content characters and then give them legendary skins. Have something in mind for them. I mean, let's be real. There's so much out there they can do. Obviously, getting licenses can be hard. We've been waiting for, it for who knows how long. It's probably never going to happen. And also, wind it back a second. Things like Scooby-Doo and Star Wars and Marvel will never really make it into the game because Disney probably won't allow it. You never know. I cover it on the Nick Cage outfits, that I think some of the best Nick Cage outfits are Disney outfits, and we're never going to get them. But you never know. Maybe Disney will play along. They play along with Fortnite. Again, not so bad. The goal is to be, one of the greatest games of all time, is it not? To have sustainability for years. Dead by Daylight has successfully done it. And all I'm saying is let them expand more. Don't be a purist while gatekeeping the game. Because that's what you're doing. Do you know how many Star Wars fans exist? Just bringing in a Star Wars map would bring people to the game. And it's not going to mess anything up. Again, I'm not saying bring in licenses that don't make any sense. Like, it has to have some continuity to the game. Like, I'm not saying go get me, all the Disney princess outfits. Unless you're doing, like, the actual Fables and more horror story side outfits. Maybe that's for another video. But we're not going to bring in, Elsa and Jasmine and Aladdin into this game, or Genie. Like, no. We're not bringing them in. I'm not saying get away from the dark and the horror. I'm just saying let them bring in whatever the hell they want that makes sense. And I can make a lot of things make sense. I can make a lot of games make sense. So tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I want this game to reach the billions. I don't know about you, but Dead by Daylight reaching billions of dollars would be amazing, because it's not a battle royale game. It's a 4v1, sometimes a 2v8. More money equals more expansion, which makes more original content, which makes more opportunity. It's as simple as that. Let me know what you think.